The more I venture into leadership, whether it's in the context of management in my day job or being a pastor or even teaching a class, I realize that there are always times in which I get into a situation in which I feel inadequate or insufficient. Obviously, as a human being, I have weaknesses, I have struggles, I self-talk, that seems to be a huge thing with me. Oh, have you heard of imposter syndrome? Well, maybe Google it sometime. I won't go into it right now. But one of the things that keeps coming up is God's affirmation in my life about the things He's called me to do. No, He hasn't blessed me to the level of some people, but I feel overly blessed at times. But He has blessed me in that which I can handle and that which I can steward. And as I learn and as I grow and as I develop, I'm able to steward those blessings even more and for the kingdom multiply. So it's interesting, isn't it? When we talk about and think about the things that we feel inadequate about or insufficient, that we tend to kind of shy away from that conversation because the Instagram society that we're in wants we want to look perfect and put together and the subject matter expert on every single little thing that's out there. We want people to come to us for all the answers. But yet we do have those private times in which we don't have the answers. And we kind of kick ourselves for that. We look in the mirror and say, you're not adequate. Now, there is nothing in Scripture that backs up that God thinks of us that way. But He does talk about in Scripture the fact that we do have weakness. So if you think about weakness in something you struggle with or something you can't quite achieve, you're not strong enough. Let's use the word strength. We think about this time of year, and every 4 years there's an election this time of year. We have that word power that comes to the forefront all the time. Who's going to be in power? The fact is, no matter who's in power, everyone has weaknesses. So 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 says this. But he said to me, and this is God, communicating through Paul and to Paul, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Let's give that a practical spin here. This is already practical. Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that at all, that it's not. But let's put it into today. You hear someone who you admire, you hear them speaking, and they start to talk about things that they struggle with and things that they just kind of open up in what's the word I'm looking for? Authenticity. There you go. That's the word. And you start to look at them in a different way, not because you think, oh, they're flawed now in my mind, but you think, oh, wow, they are more relatable to me now that I understand that they go through stuff as well. When we talk about mental health in the church, which Sean did a few weeks ago, when we talk about what it means to be whole, which we're going to for the month of November, we have to understand that God is the center of this process. God is the center of us becoming whole and built up and developing. So God's grace is sufficient for you. It's just sometimes we want His grace to be overly sufficient for us. We want to have so much that we're rolling in it, and we have enough to give away. Well, you will, depending on how you develop and how you grow and how you steward. So think about it this way. If God is sufficient for you, What does our posture look like on a daily basis? Something to think about. Have a great week.